These RedRock flat style fender flares with LED DRLs and turn signals are a great option for the 2018 and newer JL owners who have damaged their current fenders on or off-road, or just in search of a new look for their Jeep and want a stylish and capable replacement. With the sleek and slim build in the OE-inspired feel these bring to the table, they're great for the JL owner who wants a smaller flare that will open up the wheel well space for better articulation off-road, or to show off your wheel and tire package better than the factory set could. And the fenders also feature more of a modern look to the integrated lighting with a slim LED strip right at the front, adding a premium feel to this set, and it's a fully inclusive kit with all four in the set. So even though I have two on the table here because of their size, you are going to get all four corners with this kit, so you're not gonna have to question when it comes time to install them. As I said, this definitely has some notes of the factory fender coming through with the shape of the build, but these are much slimmer, which opens up a lot of space inside the wheel well. Now, it makes the Wrangler much more capable, so your tire and suspension can move more freely without you having to worry about coming in contact or your tire coming in contact with your fender and causing any damage, especially if you have a larger wheel and tire combo on your Jeep. Now, with that in mind, because of the build, these are also a lot more flexible and forgiving compared to steel flares. If you prefer a plastic flare for off-road situations to minimize damage if you do come in contact with an obstacle. Now, aside from the fenders, the front flares incorporate a subtle fiber optic LED turn signal and daytime running light to keep up to OE standards, but the slim build and the smoked lens offer a subtle and sleek feel, and the switchback amber and white LEDs add a modern feel to it as well. Now, these are made of an ABS plastic construction with an OE texture to the material, so match very well with other OE accessories and any other plastic that you may still have on your JL. Now, the material, however, does have a paintable build if you want to match to your color code for a more polished or street style appearance. Now, as for the lighting, the LEDs make for a much longer lasting system, so you can enjoy them for years to come compared to a halogen bulb, and they are very bright to make sure that you are noticed on the street. Now, again, the kit also comes with all four flares, as I mentioned, and all of the hardware and wiring needed to get these functioning properly.
This will come in right around $750.
Now, what really stands out about this is that they have that slim OE-inspired look to them, which I think adds a premium appearance to the side while getting a lot of function with the extra room and integrated DRL turn signal built into the flare. Now, it definitely is a big change compared to metal flares, but if you do prefer a plastic fender flare and would rather go for the slim look to show off your wheels and tires and get some more room to work with in the wheel well, these will work much better compared to an oversized option. It also comes with all four in the set, so you're not gonna have to worry about matching the front and rear, again, for a no questions asked process. Install is fairly easy at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should take about 2 hours in total to get the factory flares off and this set in place. Now, I do want to mention that this set is not compatible with the factory inner fender liners, so if you know you want that extra coverage, I would check out a set of aftermarket options, and we have a bunch of those available on the site. However, at this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers. They're going to show you how to bolt these and wire these up to your JL. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get to the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, 10 and 13 millimeter sockets, a 13 millimeter wrench, a clip removal tool, some wire crimpers, and also not shown here is either your factory fuse puller or needle nose pliers. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing some fender flares on our Wrangler, so let's get started. Alrighty, guys, so to start off, we're going to come into our fender liner with our clip removal tool. You've got push clips all throughout your fender liner, which are holding this in place. We're going to need to remove all those, so you've got some down bottom, you've got a few along the top, and then you've got a few up in this corner as well. So just take your clip removal tool and pop all of those out first. Now, some of these can be stubborn, so you just want to use a little pressure. Sometimes they will break like that, that's okay. We've got some down in this corner as well. And in the back corner and along the top, you want to remove all those as well. Now your flare itself is held on by these wide push clips. You can try to get behind there with needle nose and compress the tabs. It's kind of difficult, to be honest. So what we're gonna do is grab our flare and pull firmly. You're gonna break some tabs, that's okay. Your kit comes with new ones. I'm just gonna pop this off. Now you can see we've got some tabs left behind that did break when we pulled our flare off. Any ones that are stuck in here, you're just gonna take your clip removal tool, get in here, and pop those off. Then you want to do the same thing for the remaining broken clips, and then we'll do the same thing for the other side to remove our other flare. Alrighty guys, so now that we have our rear flares off, it's time to remove our fronts. Now up here is a little different than in the rear. You're gonna have one push clip on your fender liner, which ours, due to many previous installs, has disappeared. But you should use your clip removal tool and pop that out. Then what you're gonna have is 4 10mm screws. You're gonna have 2 up here, one of which is through this little opening. Then you're gonna have 2 more at the very top of your fender liner. You're gonna remove all 4 of those, then we're gonna pull our flare off. So we're gonna grab our 10mm socket. We're gonna remove our 10mm screws. We got one right here, one through this opening. Kind of weird to get to. And you've got the other 2 on the very top of your fender liner. Now we're going to firmly grasp our flare and pull it away from the vehicle. Now before you just fully pull your flare away, you are going to have to unplug your factory lights. You want to disconnect the safety tab, and we'll unplug our connector. Pull our flare away. Now just like with our rear flare, we're going to remove all of our broken clips with our clip removal tool. And once you have this side complete, you can do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll come back and start installing our new setup. Alrighty guys, so now that we have our flares off, what we're going to do before we install our new flare setup is to add in our DRL harness. This is going to activate all the functions of your DRLs. So what we're going to do is attach our provided fuse tab to our black wire coming off of our harness. They do come pre-stripped. We're going to get this into the connector, like so. And we're going to grab our crimpers, crimp this down, give it a nice crimp. I like to give a little tug to make sure that's not going to come out. Now that we have our fuse tab crimped onto our harness, we're going to come over to our fuse junction block. We're going to remove the cover. It's just held on by these 2 tabs, so we're going to pop that off. And you have a chart for all of your fuses right here. We're going to be looking for fuse number 70. That is an ignition fuse, so it's going to have key on power. That's what we want. So what we're going to do is fuse 70 is back here behind this relay. You're going to grab the fuse puller that is in the junction block. If you don't have this, you can use needle nose pliers. We're going to pull that fuse out, put it into the open slot of our fuse tab, and then insert our fuse tab in the slot that fuse came out of. So we grab our fuse puller, come over to our fuse, pop that out. You can put our fuse puller right back, always a good idea. We're going to insert our fuse into the open slot. Now you want to put your fuse into that open slot, and we're going to put our fuse tab right back in where that one came out. Make sure that fully seats. Now once we have that in place, we can reinstall our cover. Now if you want flush fitment, you can notch out a little section of your lid here to have this sit flush. For demonstration purposes, we're not going to notch that out. All right, so now we've got our 2 ends of our harness that go to our lights. So we've got a longer leg that's going to go over to your driver's side. The shorter leg is going to our passenger side. So what we're going to do is just kind of droop this over for now. We're going to take our passenger side leg. You can send that through by this opening right here. There's a nice open slot. It's a little tricky, but you can get it through. Bring that down. into your fender well area. Rest of that here. And then once you've got this side in your flare area, you can send your driver's side over and do the same thing. Feel free to route this however you'd like. Just remember to keep it out of the way of any hot or moving parts in the vehicle because you don't want to damage your harness or your vehicle in the process. All right, so next up we're going to install our new front mounting bracket. That's going to go on these two tabs right here. And you want this outside arch to be facing up and towards the back of the vehicle. We're going to grab our supplied flange bolts and flat washers. Get our first one in place. Now we're just going to hand tighten these for now because we want to be able to adjust if necessary. Other one in. Okay, as you can see, we still have movement right here. That's what we want. So now we have our flare over here, and the first thing we're going to need to do is remove the two 10mm bolts on our light mount. So we've got our 10mm socket, we'll pop these out. Next we can install our new provided mounting clips. They're just going to slide right into the openings on the back of our flare. Clip into place like so. So you want to do that for all of your mounting points along your flare. Okay. Next we're going to install our flare. We're going to slip that over that bracket. We want to line up all of our mounting clips. Now, I just want to note this may take a slight bit of manipulation of the flare in order to get everything lined up. Now we've got a few lined up, so we're going to push those in. That's going to help hold this in place. Then we're just going to work our way down inside the flare itself. So now we're just going to keep lining these up and pushing them in as we go. Now we're going to get our rear support bracket in place. So we've got our provided nut and bolt and washer into our mounting point of our bracket. We're going to pull back on our flare, bring this in, get into that open hole. Then you can rest your flare right on there. And we'll get our nut on the back side. This is kind of a tight spot. Just take your time with it. As you can see, this end has double-sided tape. You want to make sure to pull the backing off of that. And once your bracket is square, you can rest and press your flare onto it. So now we can begin to bolt our flare to our mounting brackets, and we're going to use the two factory center brackets and then the bracket we installed previously. That's going to line up with those bolt holes that we just removed the screws from. So we've got my 10mm socket. We've got our provided bolts and flat washers. We're going to get our first two into the mounting bracket here. Now you want to make sure not to pinch your wires. Make sure that's tucked off to the side. And we'll get these in place first. This may take a little persuasion. And we'll get our other one in as well. Now we're going to have to sneak this other one back in here. You may need an extension with your socket for this one. Now we're going to get our two factory bracket bolts in. We're going to take our 10mm socket. Tighten that one up, then we'll install our rear one. We're going to plug our DRL harness into our single pin connector, like so. You can tuck this however you'd like. Again, just make sure it's out of the way. Now we can plug our new connector into the factory side of our harness. Lock that in, push in your safety tab. Again, you tuck your excess wiring, however you choose. You can use this bracket as a security point. Next, we're going to tighten down our bracket mounting bolts. So we've got a 13mm wrench and our 13mm socket on our ratchet. We'll tighten on our rear mounting bolt as well. Alright guys, so just with our front fender flare, we're going to install our mounting clips onto our rear flare now. Same principle, just pop those in. And make sure your mounting tab is facing out towards where the vehicle is. Once we've got all these clips in, we're going to put this right onto our vehicle. Now when putting this one on, you do want to start at this top center locator, because we have a locator tab next to our clip. You want to make sure that goes in. Again, just like with the front, you're going to have to manipulate this a little bit to get it started. And you just want to work your way out from there. Take your time with this. Everything kind of settle in. Work our way up to the front, doing the same thing as we did with these ones. Alrighty guys, so now we need to mount our rear support bracket. Just like with the front, it has this double-sided tape on the flare side. So we're going to take the backing off of that. Sometimes this stuff's a little tricky to get off. Just take your time with it. Once we've got that off, now for this, we're going to use our provided threaded insert and our flange head bolt. Going to get this insert into here. This might be a little tough at first, but it will go through. Pop that in. And we're going to take our bracket and our bolt. We're going to line this up. It has this nice ear on it to keep it centered. We'll get that started. And we're going to grab our 10mm socket and tighten this down. And you want to make sure your flare is nice and pressed on your adhesive side. Now once you've got this side completely installed, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our RedRock flat style fender flares with LED DRL and turn signals for your 18 to current Jeep Wrangler JL. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.